Today on the Big Dog Holler Barbecue channel, we're making some hanging ribs, so stay tuned and find out how we made them. Welcome to the Holler, everybody. To get these hanging ribs started, what we have here are a couple pork spare ribs from Prairie Fresh that we picked up from our local Walmart. Just going to get these cracked open, cut off some of these rib tips, trim up the edges a little bit as well to make them more square. And in terms of other ingredients, once again, Marty had a pretty light week here. We have some coarse ground pepper from Rural King, as well as some Lawry seasoning. So real simple ribs. So once again, we're gonna get these cracked open. We'll be right back once we trim these up. So as you can see, we have our ribs nice and trimmed up here. Took a couple bones off the smaller side as well as just one bone off there, and then removed the rib tips from them as well. So gonna go ahead and set this rack off on the side, get that ready for our Instagram reels. And then from here, we're gonna season the back side first. And we'll start it out with our coarse ground black pepper, nice and high for decent coverage here, all the way across these ribs. Nice and even, don't have to go too heavy, but it's just a nice base coat. And then we'll come in with our Lawrys as well. Nice and even on this back side. So now that we have a nice even coat on the back here, we'll get that patted in. And then we will flip these over and do the exact same thing to the meat side here. Normally you will want to start with the back side if you're putting them backside down. Obviously in this situation we are hanging them, so it doesn't matter quite as much which side you start with. So back with our pepper, back with the Lawrys on top. Nice and simple, a little bit more Texas style in this situation with the seasonings. Gonna let these rest probably 15 to 30 minutes, let this adhere nicely before we get them thrown on the pit. So as you can see, both racks here are nice and seasoned with something that's a thinner cut of meat like ribs, only looking for 15 to 30 minutes, maybe 45 to an hour, depending on your preference there. Something like a pork butt, you could certainly go overnight, as that's a lot thicker cut of meat. Currently, we're cranking up the Weber Smokey Mountain 22-inch to 275 degrees, a little below or a little above, doesn't hurt anything. We have our Hunsaker hanging rib racks in there as well. So we'll meet you out of the smoker. So out here at the Weber, we're currently running some B&B charcoal oak competition briquettes, as well as some Kingsford match light in the middle, just to get things lit nice and easy. And then for smoke flavor, using some Bear Mountain Barbecue's apple barbecue wood chunks as well. And as you can see on the chef's tub here, still coming up to roughly 275, but let's take a quick peek here as that smoke rolls. Here's our hanging contraption here from Hunsaker. Have the Hunsaker diffuser plate in there as well, but we're going to use one of these hooks on the inside of the meat. Long part goes through the ribs, and then we will hang the ribs nice and easy. Probably one here and maybe one over here as well, but I've seen people put roughly 20 racks of ribs on this, so nice and easy. And we'll meet you back out here once the ribs have seasoned nicely. Alright, so it's been roughly 20 to 30 minutes here. As you can see, the moisture is starting to be pulled out of these ribs. What we're going to do next is we're going to grab one of our meat hooks here, and we're going to flip this over. We're going to put this in on the membrane side, and we're going 2 bones away from the outside on the thicker half of the ribs here. So we're going as close to the middle as possible, and we'll go through, and there we are. As you can see, not a ton of clearance there. If we kick it out, there should be plenty, or you could take a second hook and hang it right here so you have a little bit more extension. For now, we're just going to use the one. If need be, we'll put a second one on here, but we're going to get that second one hung up as well, and we'll meet you back out at the Weber. Alright, so as you can see, we're up to temp here. Not a very windy day here in central Indiana, so we have the gauges on the bottom about half open. But let's get this off, and we'll get our first rack of ribs on here. And we'll just put this right in the front, get that hooked around, and it's just going to ride like that. I would say 2.5, 3 hours, maybe 4, depending on where you're running your smoker at. So we'll see you then. After right around 3 hours, let's take a look at our hanging spare ribs here. As you can see, we have some great color. They're probing right around 190 to 200 degrees. So we're going to go ahead and get this rack removed, place the top rack back in the Weber Smokey Mountain, and then get these glazed. We'll be back once that top rack is in there. Alright, so now that we have the top rack back in here, we have a little bit of Franklin's barbecue sauce that we're going to paint on top. And then we'll give it roughly 10 minutes. You can crank up the heat a little bit if you want, just giving that plenty of time to tack up there. Now we have our ribs off the Weber Smokey Mountain. As you can see, great color from both the smoke as well as that Franklin's barbecue sauce. Have decent pullback from the bone as well on the meat there. One benefit of hanging these ribs is, as you saw, it's a very fast cook. I know the Weber Smokey Mountain kind of cooks things fast as it is, but at 2.5, 3 hours, very quick and easy cook. But all that's left to do now is get these sliced up and dig. So we have a few of our Prairie Fresh ribs sliced up here. Let's go ahead and grab one. As you can see, great smoke ring on the inside there. Still plenty of juice left in that rib as well. But there you have it, hanging ribs, Big Dog Holler style. Whoever eats the most gets the most, so dig in.